Hey guys, it's Dave, and I'm switching it up a little bit this week. I failed to post anything on Thursday at my blog at davechemic.com/blog. Usually I stick to a Tuesday, Thursday, Saturday sort of schedule for new posts, but I was a little busy this week, so I didn't get around to the Thursday post, unfortunately. Just because school and work stuff has been a little hectic this past week, but instead of writing out a post, I figured what I would do instead is go ahead and just do a video on what I was going to write a post about. So, surprise, surprise, I was going to talk about the Apple event that was this past Tuesday with the new notebooks, the Apple Notebook event. There's some pretty cool new notebooks from Apple. If you haven't heard, I'm sure you have. They switched up the design so that they're now based on the iMac a little bit more, completely aluminum, and they do a little black bezel around the screen, which looks really nice. Also, the screen is a solid plate of glass, just like on the iMac, which is actually interesting because I read that based on people who actually got some hands-on time, the screen plate that's over the screen is actually built right onto the monitor, so if you have any problems with the glass plate, you actually have to replace the whole monitor, but that's a separate issue. Some other cool stuff, the hardware got a big boost, especially in graphics processing. Apple announced that they were going to partner with NVIDIA for their new chipset, which is a little interesting to me because if you've been following Apple news at all, you'll know that Apple had to admit that on the MacBook Pros they had some issues with NVIDIA graphics cards and some overheating issues, and so it's a little surprising that they went ahead and I guess partnered with NVIDIA in the future for the chipset and so forth, but NVIDIA did release some new chipsets based on this Apple announcement. I guess they were waiting for Apple to do the notebook event before they announced it, and it's some really surprisingly powerful stuff. Of course, I'm a gamer, so the first thing I think is, these would be great for running games, even in the lower-end MacBook and not just in the MacBook Pro. You don't really think of the Mac being a huge gaming platform. Now with Windows via Boot Camp, it's a little, and also Parallels, but not as much. And what's the other one? VMware. Usually don't game under virtualization, but that's always there too. Primarily under Boot Camp, it's obviously a little bit more of a viable platform for gaming, but you still don't really think of the Mac platform much for PC gaming. Obviously, I own an iMac and I PC game on it. It's just not one of those things you really think about. But regardless, the new hardware is pretty impressive, especially the video cards, like I said. Also, the new trackpad is a solid piece of glass, and they got rid of the button, so the whole glass trackpad is actually the button, which is pretty interesting. Let me think, is there anything I'm missing? I'm sure I'm missing some stuff, but I'm also sure that if you're watching this video, you've probably heard about it, and you can go check it out at their site, of course. So, they not only did they release the new MacBooks, but they also kept some of the older ones. So like in the MacBook, just the standard MacBook, they kept the old white MacBook and dropped the price down to $999, which is pretty good. Some people thought that the price would go as low as $899, but as it turned out, that was actually the pricing for a new cinema display that they announced Tuesday. Based on that, actually, it's kind of seems to me like Apple can't keep a secret these days at all. Apple previously was really known for their, I guess, privacy. That's not really the correct word, but just their security and keeping new products and things from slipping to the media. The past few events, people have been dead on with what they've said was going to happen. The cinema display, everybody got that. The pricing for a cheaper MacBook, everybody got that. There was even pictures of their new brick process for creating notebooks out of solid chunks of aluminum. Everything was pretty much picked out before the event, so there wasn't too many surprises at all, I don't think. So that's a little interesting, but that's kind of a side note. Like I said, they kept the old white MacBook around because they dropped it down to $999, which is good, especially with the way the economy is. It's probably good to have a cheaper product on the market. But the new MacBooks, which is what I was looking at, are $1299, and there's one that I think is like $1599. Don't quote me on that because I think I might be off, but I know the lower end one is $1299, which is pretty good. I think my MacBook, the one that I have, was about $1,300 when I bought it, and that was with a an education discount. So pretty similar. The MacBook Pros obviously are always more expensive. I think the higher end one is approaching $3,000, which, I mean, I hate to be the PC Windows guy who's always like, well, look at Apple's products, they're so expensive. But that is a lot of money to spend on a laptop, $3,000. You could get a really nice PC gaming rig for that much. But of course, you pay what you get for, and Apple's products are always really nice. So if that's what you need a high quality mobile Macintosh, then that's what you get. Like I said, I don't think if I mentioned this, but the MacBook Pros actually have 2 graphics cards in them, so there's a lot of power there. I just thought it was a little interesting that they also kept around an older MacBook Pro, because the new MacBook Pros are only 15-inch, and so they kept the older style titanium MacBook Pro. I don't think it's titanium, it's just a completely aluminum body that was a 17-inch. So now if you want one of the new MacBook Pros and you want a 17-inch laptop or screen, you're going to be stuck. You have to get one of the older ones. It's kind of interesting the way they're going with this, with keeping one SKU from the older MacBooks. I don't really know if you could draw anything from that, but it is what it is. As far as the MacBook Air goes, they just did some spec updates, no redesign or anything like that. So that's pretty interesting.